Welcome to Prisma Day 2020. I'm the co-founder of Prisma and incredibly excited to have you all here today. Earlier this month, we launched the GA release of Prisma Client. So I would like to start by talking about the principles that guide us in our design of Prisma Client. First of all, with Prisma Client, we set out with one clear goal in mind: create a database access library that has significantly better developer economics than anything that exists today. For us, that meant leveraging recent improvements in the TypeScript compiler to provide automatic type safety and auto-completion for any database query without manual setup. With Prisma Client, there is no need for manual typing out classes to match your database table, configure mapping with XML, or JSON, or anything like that. The CLI will generate a fully functional type-safe data access library by introspecting your database. And in contrast to the existing query builders, Prisma Client provides complete type coverage for all input and output from your database query. No magic string concatenation is needed. And the result is a very intuitive experience where your editor guides you to do the right thing instead of you having to look up specific syntax on Stack Overflow all the time, like I used to do. If you haven't used Prisma Client already, you'll have plenty of opportunity to see this during the talks today. But I'll also encourage you to jump right in and give Prisma Client a try. If you have a MySQL or Postgres database, then you can be writing your first query in less than 5 minutes. And now, I know that 10x is kind of a cliche, but I think it's fair to say that we have achieved our goal of being 10 times better in developer economics. And the 10,000 plus developers who use the Prisma CLI every week is proof of that. Now, having a library that is nice to use is not enough. With the GA release, we covered a lot of groundwork, paving the way for the many features you all have requested on GitHub. We have hired some great product people from Auth0 and Contentful to help us ramp up the work and quickly get to a broad set of features. The foundations are in place, so we will be rolling out new and exciting features every month for the foreseeable future. If you want to stay up to date, you can check out our blog regularly or simply follow us on Twitter. Or if you're even more engaged, jump over to GitHub and help out by providing more context to all of our feature requests. When adopting a technology, it is important to evaluate the health of the ecosystem. You want to pick a technology that is trending up, a community that is friendly and growing every day. Instead of adopting a mature technology in decline, you want to pick a technology that will see its heydays in the decade to come. Some of you have asked us, how will Prisma make money? How do I know that Prisma is the right technology to bet on? How is this even viable? So let's talk about the Prisma strategy, why we are doing what we are doing, and what you can expect from us in the years to come. Prisma Client is free and open source. We believe it is the best data access library for JavaScript and TypeScript developers, and we want as many developers as possible to benefit from it. Some of you are individual developers, hobbyists, are working in early stage companies. You'll probably never pay money for a Prisma product, and that's totally fine. But many of you work in companies, startups, enterprises, consultancies, and many of you are spending countless hours solving problems that don't, strictly speaking, fall within the set of responsibilities for a data access library, but are nonetheless related somehow. Examples include deploying a complex schema migration without downtime, or implementing caching in the applications to reduce load on the database, or sketching on a whiteboard with a coworker to decide the proper database schema for a new feature, or trawling through logs to understand why a certain part of the application is getting slower, and on and on and on. So why doesn't existing data access libraries help you with all of these things? Is it simply a lack of imagination? No, of course not. It's just outside the scope of what these libraries are trying to do. But luckily, we are more ambitious than that. From the beginning, we have designed Prisma with the expansive vision in mind. The Prisma schema file, for example, is great for taking a quick look at the database design, but more importantly, the declarative definition enables collaboration in teams that span multiple language ecosystems. The Rust query engine enables us to be more performant than a pure JavaScript implementation. But more importantly, it enables us to build additional products in the future that help teams work effectively with data. So there you have it, the Prisma strategy. And now I'm happy to share something exciting with you. We're working with some of the smartest people in the industry. Investors are also investors in and on the board of amazing companies like Netlify, Gatsby, CockroachDB, and many other dev tool companies you all know and admire. So today, I'm proud to announce that we are adding an additional set of very smart, talented people to our little world. We are announcing a 12 million funding round led by Amplify partners that will enable us to accelerate our investment in the core open source tools. And with that, I hope you will enjoy the rest of the conference and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for the concise keynote, Søren. Exciting times ahead for Prisma. We'll now do a Q&A whenever you're ready.
I'm ready for questions and answers for sure.
Great. So I think the first question that is coming up is, when is Prisma Migrate coming?
That's a great question. With Prisma Migrate, we wanted to do something a little bit different. So Prisma is here to make working with databases easy. So of course we need a solution for migrating your database, but there are already a number of solutions out there for migrating databases, and they work fine. We want to build something that not just works, but is also a delight to use. So if you have used the experimental version of Prisma Migrate already, or maybe Prisma 1, you'll know how our declarative migration system is actually really nice to use. And we want to build on that and create a system that is really nice to use, but also scales to really big production environments. So you'll see the first results of that later this year.
Thank you for that. Another question that's coming up is, I think this question comes up quite often, is how is Prisma different to ORMs like Sequelize and Type ORM?
That's a great question. So I already touched on this a little bit, that we strive for delivering a much better developer experience. A generated client tailored to your specific database is just fundamentally a much better experience. You get full code completion, and the editor kind of guides you through developing your app instead of you having to look up in documentation or just see what happens when you run the code. So better developer experience is a fundamental aspect of Prisma. But maybe more importantly, Prisma is a very ambitious project. We spent the last couple of years visiting companies like Stripe and Facebook and really learning from how their application engineers are productive and building big scale applications. And we took that into account when we were building Prisma. So the architecture of Prisma is prepared for a future where we are slowly building more and more of these features that application engineers at big tech companies rely on for their productivity every day. We start with a simple data access library, but slowly we'll see more and more of these things roll out. I'm really excited to talk more about that in a year's time.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of new things happening in the ecosystem, but it's especially exciting with some of the developments that are happening even within the Prisma ecosystem. Let's see if we have any more questions coming in from the crowd. Okay, I'm looking here. Do we
just get it started?
Okay, so we have a question. How will Prisma make money?
Oh, that's also a very good question. And it's a question you could ask of many open source companies, right? Many of you are using Gatsby, for example, and a few years ago, people would ask, how does Gatsby make money? Eventually, they build a commercial service that complements the open source project. And we are going to go and do some of the same. As I mentioned before, we have this architecture in place that enable us to deliver some really interesting and pretty advanced features without you having to change your application much. And some of these we'll be able to deliver in a commercial setting. We're already working with some companies figuring out what they would really value, what would make a difference for them. It'll be a while before we're ready to really talk about this, but that's what you should be looking for.
Yeah, some of the best things take time. Do you think a lot of those features will be targeted at larger teams?
I think we will see some features that are interesting for individual developers. But as you know, developers are a challenging audience because they can build all the things themselves. So the way to make real money that can sustain a company is to build something for large companies, for enterprises.
Yes, sorry.
It's too early for us to say how the split is between those two.
And if you can perhaps maybe chime in on the question of long-running transaction support. We have a question coming in.
So long-running transactions are interesting. Transaction is a thing you use to group multiple actions together, such that from your perspective as a developer, it looks like you're the only user of the database. And sometimes you want to maybe read some data, look at that data in the code, then take some other actions. And this is what we call a long-running transaction because it spans multiple network requests. Prisma doesn't support this, and I don't think we ever will. This is a pattern that was really common in the past when you had a big database in a big application. But as you're creating scalable services that run on Lambda, for example, it's really not the best way to do most things. And we will be writing a lot of content about how to take those problems you would usually solve with a long-running transaction and solve them in a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for the Q&A and for your insightful talk. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. And hope you all enjoy the day very much.